Hey there! Welcome to yet another episode of Idea Nugget, your bite sized podcast to munch on ideas. In today's episode, we'll again talk about autonomous cars, but we'll look at it from the lens of network effects and make some forecasts or predictions for the future from our understanding of the current world of technology. So let's dive in. Have you ever wondered how Apple, a company that had no history of making cell phones until 2007, became a phone manufacturer with the largest market share in the world just a decade later? On the other hand, phone giants of the 2000s like Nokia, BlackBerry were totally wiped out. This winner takes all phenomenon is a result of underlying network effects that govern various aspects in the world of technology. This makes me wonder, will there be a winner takes all effect in the world of autonomous cars too? Are there underlying network effects that will make the top 1 or 2 car companies capture the majority market share? In episode 22 of this show, we looked into the fundamentals of network effect and how they govern our life. Simply put, network effect is a phenomenon where addition of each new user to the network increases the value of the network for all its existing users, and this increased value grows exponentially as every new user that adds to it. Let's do a thought experiment on whether network effects will play a role in deciding the future of autonomous cars. Right now, a bunch of companies are working towards developing autonomous vehicles. And not all of them will succeed. But as of today, quite a few of them have a good chance to win in this game. If we look at the landscape of cars today, there are many car makers who have cracked the code to manufacture great cars. Be it Asian manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, or Western makers like Ford, Volkswagen, and none of them is a clear winner in the current car market. So I can logically conclude that the actual manufacturing of the cars is not the only factor at play here. The other factor, apart from the mechanical build of the car, is the technology that drives it. Pun intended. This autonomous driving software and the associated data collection will likely cause network effects to trigger in this space. Think about it. More the number of users using a particular autonomous driving software, the more data it can generate and feed back into its machine learning models. This will create a much better version of the software, which in turn will attract a lot more users. A good old fashioned positive feedback loop. The fundamental reason why Google search is the top search engine, YouTube is the most popular video sharing platform, and Meta is the top social media company is because all of them use network effects to their advantage. Another great product example, something we have all heard of, is Apple's AirTag, which was launched in 2021. It doesn't have its own GPS, but it uses a network of around 2 billion Apple devices in the world to let you know of its location. In North America, 55% of the phones are iPhones, while all the remaining brands account for 45% together. So basically, every other phone in North America is an iPhone. Now, with such a big market share, Apple uses its software to communicate with its devices and help track down the AirTag. You see how the network effect played a role in growing Apple's ecosystem? Apple took its collected data from all its devices, enhanced the Apple experience with the addition of AirTag, and eventually drawing more and more users to its ecosystem. However, the strength of the network determines the effect it has on the success of the product. For example, in countries like India, where Apple's market share of the phones is under 4%, Apple's AirTags are not useful or popular. So, coming back to cars, imagine iOS as the software for autonomous driving and cars as Apple devices. Once the market share of these cars increases beyond a threshold and they start communicating amongst themselves, they will learn from each other. They will be able to share the traffic situation, the road conditions, and other pertinent driving informations in real time, and not only enhance the experience of self-driving cars but will also make them a lot safer. Moreover, here's something else they could do. While on the drive, the car updates a central database. When it drives down a pre-mapped road, it compares the road to the map and updates it to make it more accurate. It trains itself and everyone on the network to make better and safe decisions while driving. These cars feed off each other and create more functionality for the established network, making the company the first choice for potential new buyers. A classic network effect coming into play. Today's frontrunner Tesla has gathered a large database of maps and driving patterns of its users. It has tested multiple generations of autopilot hardware in the past few years. This definitely gives Tesla an edge. However, there are some companies like Nvidia, Motional, who are not traditional car manufacturers but are developing autonomous driving systems to be used by them. You could make an analogy of these companies to Android, which provides operating system as a service, while Tesla follows a model similar to Apple, which vertically integrates everything in-house. To conclude, we have established that network effects will definitely come into play as autonomous driving technology develops and more such cars are adopted by the masses. But going forward, a lot more questions come up. How strong is the network effect? Is it strong enough to create a monopoly or an oligopoly? What is the threshold for network effects to be triggered? And will the network effect have a strong regional effect or will it be global? For now, we can only speculate and time will tell who will dominate this market or even if they can. Until then, this is your host Mayur Ghatge signing off. Be curious and stay tuned.